Warm wishes. Standard 12, Unit 2, O. Our Casuarina Tree by Toru Dutt. Toru Dutt, 1856 to 1877, was a Bengali poetess from the Indian subcontinent who wrote in English and French. She was the third daughter of the family of distinguished intellectuals and poets. She was taught by excellent English tutors at home and later on in Europe and England during her long stay there. Though she was exposed to Western life and culture, she loved the land of her birth and remained Indian in consciousness and sensibility. Some of her well-known collection of poems are ancient ballads and legends of Hindustan. She has to her credit a volume of poems in French titled Chef Gleaned in French Fields, 1875. Our Casuarina Tree, the most well-known poem, was included in her miscellaneous poems. The poetry, Our Casuarina Tree, consists of 5 stanzas, 11 lines each, with the rhyming scheme of ABBA in plain English, in which the poetess talks about her bondage towards the Casuarina tree. The poem begins with a description of the tree. She expresses that the tree laments her loss of presence. She hopes that the tree will be remembered forever as the yew tree of Borrowdale, immortalized by Wordsworth, or still remembered. She immortalizes the tree for the sake of her loved ones by writing this poem about it. Toru Dutt has brought out the theme of nature, something that shares the feelings with humans, that lessens the burden in her heart. Like a huge python winding round and round, the rugged trunk, indented deep with scars, up to its very summit near the stars, the creeper has wound itself round the rugged trunk of the Casuarina tree. Like a huge python, the creeper has left deep marks on the trunk of the tree up to its top near the stars. A creeper climbs in whose embraces bound no other tree could live. No other tree except a Casuarina tree can be embraced by this creeper. But gallantly the giant wears the scarf and flowers are hung. The tree is described as being gallant and possibly brave, as very few trees could survive in the tight hold of this creeper. The giant tree looks like as if it is wearing a scarf with its flowers on it. In crimson clusters, all the boughs among, whereon all day are gathered birds and bees. The Casuarina tree is covered with creeper which bears red crimson flowers. The whole day, birds and bees gather around the tree. And often at night, the garden overflows with one sweet song that seems to have no close, sung darkling from our trees while men repose. Often at night, the garden echoes and seems to be jubilant, and the song of the nightingale is heard and continues till dawn, when men takes rest. When first my casement is wide open thrown, at dawn my eyes delighted on it rest. At dawn, when the poetess opens her window, she is delighted to see the Casuarina tree. Sometimes, and most in winter, on its crest, a grey bamboo sits statue-like alone, watching the sunrise, while on lower boughs his puny offspring leap about and play. Mostly during winter, a grey monkey is seen sitting on the chest of the tree, seeing the sunrise with her young ones playing on the tree's bough. And far and near, kokilas hail the day, and to their pastures went our sleepy cows. Here and there, the kokilas make the day pleasant by singing sweet songs. The sleepy cows were walking to its pastures. And in the shadow, on the broad tank cast by that hoar tree, so beautiful and vast, the water lilies spring like snow enmassed. The shadow of the tree appears to fall on the water tank. The water lilies spring everywhere in the pond like snow spread all over. But not because of its magnificence, dear is the Casuarina to my soul. Poet says that it is not because of the majestic appearance of the tree which makes it dear to her heart and soul. Beneath it we have played, though years may roll, O sweet companions, loud with love intense, for your sakes shall the tree be ever dear. The tree is dear to her because she had spent happy moments with her siblings under the tree. Blent with your images it shall arise in memory till the hot tears blind mine eyes. Even if she is far away, in her memory is the tree, and the hot tears blinds her eyes. What is that dirge-like murmur that I hear, like the sea breaking on a shingle beach? It is the tree's lament and eerie speech that haply to the unknown land may reach. The poetess can hear the tree's lament even from the faraway place and questions what is that murmur noise she hears. Unknown yet well known to the eye of faith, I have heard that wail far, far away in distant lands by many of sheltered bay. A man who has the eye of faith can see the unknown as well known. Though the tree is in her memory, the tree's lament could be heard from far, far away in the distant lands and crossing many sheltered bay. When slumbered in his cave the water raved, and the waves gently kissed the classic shore of France or Italy beneath the moon, when earth lay tranced in a dreamless swoon, the tree's lament reaches her where the scenery is bathed with the silver light of the moon and the sheltered waves gently touching the shore of France and Italy. And every time the music rose, before mine inner vision rose a foam sublime. Whenever she hears the music rose, though being in a beautiful land, her mind's eye would see form sublime, the tree itself. Thy form, O tree, as in my happy prime, I saw thee in my own loud native clime. Her casuarina tree appears before her vision in her own loud native and connects strongly her native land and the dead siblings with whom she had played in her childhood beneath the tree. Therefore I fain would consecrate a lay unto thy honor, tree, beloved of those who now in blessed sleep for air repose. The poetess immortalizes the tree. She dedicates a lay in the honor of the tree because it is beloved for the dead siblings resting in peace. Dearer than life to me, alas were they, mayest thou be numbered when my days are done. The tree is dearer than life to her. It must exist ever even after her life on earth. With deathless trees like those of Borrowdale, under whose awful branches lingered pale, she hopes that the tree will be remembered forever as the yew tree of Borrowdale, immortalized by Wordsworth, or still remembered. Fear, trembling hope and death, the skeleton, and time the shadow, and though weak the worst, that would thy beauty fain, O, fain rehearse, may love defend thee from oblivion's curse. The poetess wants to create a monument for her casuarina tree. The tree does not make her long for easeful death. The tree is to her a support, a reminder of joy she once experienced with her siblings. Now we can see the poetic device employed in this poetry.